We're joined now by Chief Economist, Nigerian Economic Summit Group, Segun Mishakin. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, in spite of some level of momentum in the non-oil sector and, you know, improvement in inflation somewhat and all of that, the economy is still contracting 0.5%. How bad is it?
Well, yeah, let's look at where we were coming from. 2016, practically like 5 quarters ago. The problem we are experiencing now happens to be caused primarily by the fall in oil price. And since then, we have not seen a drastic improvement. What we have seen so far is stability over time, which signals a kind of, you can't come out of recession with just this stability.
It goes slow.
Yes, but you'll be getting the improvement over time. That's why you see people saying, okay, maybe 4th quarter or 2nd quarter will be there. But again, another point is, before we were in this recession, we've been, though, experiencing growth, but our growth has been non-inclusive. In other words, it's a weak growth. So when we are in this recession, all the weak fundamentals are then revealed. So to come out of the recession in a very in a faster rate may be very
Maybe
very
you want
difficult.
to explain that to us a little more when you talk about weak growth.
Yeah.
What are those fundamentals?
For instance, you want to expect that when you have growth, I think around 2014 we had something like 7%. You want to expect that when you have growth, the implication of that is that your productivity improves, and you want to see the implication on that on your developments, on your employment rate, on your infrastructural development, on your health facilities, and so many other sectors that may not necessarily boost growth, but that will strengthen your growth. So over the years, we've been having such a jobless growth. The more we grow, the more we have unemployment, and it's so massive. The more we grow, the more we have inflation, so massive. Now we are falling down. You can imagine what we are experiencing. So the argument, the debate should, go beyond we are 0 minus 0.5, this and that, playing around data and statistics. The reality is we are not really doing fine. If we really want to grow, we can't be in this situation now.
But we've heard even the acting president, we've heard Minister of Budget at different times saying that Nigeria is getting out of recession gradually. So if these are the figures and you're talking about realities and all of that, then what are they talking about?
Yeah.
Is it just politics?
No. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. But my argument is, well, one day we'll all sit down here and be saying, now Nigeria is out of recession. But the question...
One day.
We'll look forward to that day.
One day.
But the question is, so what has changed? What has changed apart
point.
from rolling out data? Let me give you this instance. Assuming we asked the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics not to roll out any data, to keep it with them. And imagine to them you have grown 0.5. How would you know?
How would I know if when I go to the market, my salary can buy as much as I want?
Yes.
And I can solve some of the fundamental challenges that I have. If I want to go to the hospital or take my child to the hospital, it's easy to, you know.
That is
I guess those are the...
That is inclusive.
Now that's what you mean by
my point. That is my point. So we can remember last year, 1st quarter, 2nd quarter, 3rd and 4th, we were playing around some data that now practically has changed. 1st quarter 2016, we say, oh, the economy contracted by 0.3 something percent. Now, because this one is coming out, we suddenly have, we have to do some calculation. It was actually 0.6. So you have some of these playing around data that it will not help us. We need to look at the fundamental problem. We need to look at the why we are here. Why are we here? What is the problem? If you look at the the government, the federal government budget and the states, different states budget combined together, about 14 trillion naira, they cannot solve our infrastructure gap for the next 20 years. The growth plan that was recently released will be financed with a tone of about 75 trillion naira. In other words, if you want that growth plan to be realistic, between 2017 to 2024 year plan, you need to pump in this amount of money. Now, combine federal government recurring, everything stays recurring together. Ask yourself, how long would that be delivered? We're talking of the plan. We're not even talking about the infrastructure gap. So the argument should leave the essence of playing around that. One day we know productivity, and again, if you even look at the fundamentals of this.
Sorry. We're still going ahead with our discussion this morning. The Nigerian economy is contrasted for about 0.5%, and is giving a lot of concern to Nigerians, especially when government is saying, or the authorities are saying, that Nigeria is gradually getting out of recession. And we have this situation right now. So we have with us the chief economist, Nigerian Economic Summit Group, Segun Omishakin, with us. So we've been talking about this. But before we go ahead, let's bring in Foladile to give us a reaction of Nigerians on social media.
A lot of reactions, I tell you.
A lot of reactions, I
can
imagine.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, Sheldon.
Do they feel they're getting out of recession?
No, they do not. I can tell you that for sure. Figures are nothing to Nigerians. They want to be able to, like you said earlier, I want to be able to go to the market and my salary will be able to buy some things that are essential to me. So let's find out what people are saying. Christian Nimahia says, we need to get our economy working again, and this is urgent. May Ubeku says, a kangaroo organization in the UK told us in April that Nigeria was out of recession. I hope they've seen MBS stats on the state of our economy. Robert Kimball says, and Shagun, I want you to pay attention to this one. It's very, very profound. Robert Kimball says, there are 55 countries in Africa, Nigeria, Egypt, South Africa, and 52 others. The UK economy is larger than all of these economies combined. Benga Aloronpomi says, gratuities owed by state governments in Nigeria is enough to sink any economy. Ondo owes over 40 billion naira. How do you pay that with more retiring? Ayo says the economy is seeing sign of recovery in the first quarter, inflation rate reducing gradually, but Nigerians don't feel that they can see it, materializing in what they're trying to buy. Inka Ogunubi says, and after doing a financial breakdown of, the last 2 quarters from last year and then the first quarter this year, he says, what this shows in clear terms is that since October quarter 4, 2016, the economy has been growing by at least 1.82%, while contraction reduced by 78%. And so you're thinking, okay, all these figures, but we can't see a difference. We still feel like we're in recession. But Shagun, let's go back to that tweet by Kimball, where he said, putting South Africa, all the 55 countries put together, the United Kingdom's economy is bigger than all those countries put together. What?
That's not new. That's a fact.
Okay.
That's a fact, especially given this recent whole shock problem. It's not only Nigeria that is going through. African countries are entirely depending on oil, and so any signal or any trouble in that sector will affect the economy. For instance, in ECOWAS, the recession we find ourselves in Nigeria now had already reduced the growth rate of ECOWAS combined. Exactly. And
because it looks like Nigeria is ECOWAS.
70% of GDP of the whole ECOWAS belongs to Nigeria. In other words, if you divide Nigeria into 3, each of these division is like what you have in the rest of ECOWAS. And they are talking about 15 countries. So this is not it's not by land space or land size.
Indeed,
all right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you
so much. Right. All right, Segun, we had from the statistics rolled out earlier on, we saw that manufacturing grew a little bit, and then construction also grew a little bit. But seeing that, first we talked about OPEC earlier on. They'll be meeting today, and there could be the issue of, well, let's readjust. Nigeria has been enjoying a waiver all the while, produce 2.2 and even more if you can, but anything can happen, and we keep depending on all of this. We remember the promise of agriculture, remember the promise of solid minerals being the driver point when it comes to diversification. Where should we go from here?
Now, let's look at the data again. You see manufacturing trying to pull the growth, and it's construction. Some of the reasons are very obvious. But if you look at agri, even though the government seems to be, showing this sector as if it's really helping in getting out of recession. But the question is, has agriculture contracted? Has it been flowing along this recession cycle? No. The movement you have in agriculture is purely seasonal, right? if you are in the period of harvesting, your output will grow. If
Which
you are
really
in the
should
planting,
not be the case.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be the case for an economy that wants to diversify and
Exactly.
use agriculture
Exactly.
as a...
So let's take the argument of coming out of recession from agric, because agric wasn't part of the sector that, you know. So if you remove that, you are going to see very bad statistics. But yes, let's add everything together. The point is, as I said earlier, our economy is still depending on the external volatility of the price
commodity
of
prices,
mainly commodity prices.
Yeah.
And then given the meeting today, whatever will be the outcome of the meeting, nothing will be new because we've been there. Even if Nigeria is now going to be included or reduce the production, nothing is going to, even when we had this benefit of increasing production, we still had our own domestic challenges. We're not coming up as at what we planned, 2.2 million barrels per day. According to OPEC, we were even doing 1.5, but the federal government says we are doing 1.8. So these are the problems. So many things are just, you know, happening.
Okay,
in
now, so government
that,
is, you know, all kinds of reforms, monetary policy, fiscal policies, and all of that. Touch on some of the things that you think this government is even doing right.
Yeah.
That points to the fact that, yes, indeed, Nigeria can come out of recession earlier than later.
Yeah. In all sincerity, I think we should try to give the federal government some, you know, pass mark in economic management. They may not have done it excellently, but in terms of the fiscal, monetary, and trade, there have been a lot of work. For instance, look at the 60-day initiative on ease of doing business. Look at what the federal government is doing through the vice president. Look at different initiatives. Yes, those initiatives might not be working for now, but the question is, assuming the government are not doing all this, what will be our situation? But the question has gone, the issue has gone beyond all these initiatives, committees, and, you know, sharp approaches. We need serious fundamental restructuring. And as long as we keep dodging this key issue, we will grow.
What fundamentals, very quickly, very briefly, because we don't have time, what are those fundamentals that need to be
We need to look
fixed?
Inward. In 2016, NESG, you know, we started this as summit.
The economic summit.
Yeah, economic summit. We looked into made in Nigeria or make in Nigeria, whichever way. We need to improve. We need to make use of the large, huge market that we have here. Job, unemployment is massive, but we have this, skill power. So we need to look inward and see what we can produce and make the environment easy for people to come in, and that is a long-term strategy, not something that
we have
to
to
do
start
with
from
data.
now.
Exactly.
All right, Segun Omishakin, Chief Economist, Nigeria Economic Summit Group. Thank you for coming on the program.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.